1974, my folks bought C&E Concrete, and it was just a concrete company. And in '85, they started Tri-State, or Plains Electric is what it was known at that time. They built a power plant at Pruitt, which was about 26 miles from Grants. And so when they built that power plant, the gentleman that was the project manager on it, he said, we are going to need a source for limestone. And so my dad decided, there still was some, in '85 there was still some geologists around from the uranium industry, and so he used some of their resources to try to start looking for limestone. For whatever reason, one time he was driving by this location up here in Tanaha, and he saw gravel that was on the ground. And it was actually a sand and gravel, it was just a gravel pit that people had been mining for BIA road jobs and state jobs and stuff like that. So he walked up here, got some samples of the rock, took them to the power plant, to their chemical engineering process, and they looked at it and says, this is fantastic. This is exactly what we're looking for. The upper grade of this limestone in this formation is, it's a solid limestone that's about 85 feet thick, but the upper grade is about 85% calcium carbonate, and then the lower part, which is the last 35, 40 feet, is somewhere between as high as 97, 98% calcium carbonate is what it is on this limestone. And that's what made it such a valuable commodity. We kind of figured out, okay, we've got 85 feet of limestone and we've got 640 acres just on this one section, and that doesn't include the other sections that are around us, but just on section 33 that we have, we figured that the life of this pit for the volume of our sales, which we're selling somewhere between probably 500 to 700 tons, 700,000 tons a year is what we're at. So with that volume where we're at, we figured the life was about 400 years.
What we need in equipment here is something that's efficient and something that is reliable. A crusher environment is just harsh for a lot of reasons. One is the dust. Dust is hard on engines, dust is hard on bearings, whether it be on the crusher itself or on the machines. It eats things, it tears things up. We're at a high altitude. We're almost 7,500 feet here, which there's not a lot of pits, especially in New Mexico, that are at this altitude working. And once you get up to the top of the pit, you'll see it's steep. As well kept as we keep our roads, it's steep up, it's steep down. We have one grade at the very top where you see the trucks. That's a 21% grade. So we have to have something that can withstand all this. The reliability, I mean, we've got equipment here that has just got, you know, almost 40,000 hours on it, and we're still running.
Primarily what our 350 is we have actually chains on those tires, and it has teeth on it, and we use it for loading the articulating end dumps, and they bring the material down and they feed it into our universal impact crusher that's down in the hole. When we first were in the crushing business, we fed our crusher with loaders. That's all we used. And then because of the size of this operation and things got spread out, it didn't make sense to try to move the crusher to the material or try, you know, or haul it with loaders. So that's when we bought that first 35 end up, and then we've been using it. You know, we've been using articulating end ups. I think we run 5 or 6 of them out here now. Is what we have for articulating end ups. You know, way we've always looked at it, anybody can sell iron. It's the service side of it. You know, if you don't have somebody that can service it and take care of you when you need it, because when you break down, it's always at the worst time and you need it up as quick as you can. And I've had other dealers tell me that it'll be 2 weeks before they can get to me. And you know, Golden Equipment, you know, Flavio, they've been real good about taking care of us. They've always come out when we needed it, and you know, and they understand what our needs are. When we did the research on the 350, not only we had a screaming deal that you guys had made us on the price on that 350, but we were looking at that we were saving almost $1,000 a month just on fuel. That fuel savings on that loader we were saving $1,000, and then because that 330 was as old as it was, we were spending it was starting to, they get old. The little things like the wiring and hydraulic hoses, we were probably spending another $2,000 a month in maintenance on it and stuff. So by getting a new piece of equipment, it's actually making its own payments because of we're not having to spend it on, we don't have any downtime, and so it's a huge savings on our part.